Your loan officer, Natasha Robinson, MLS number 332074, coming to you today to talk about, secrets, right? Secrets to get more buyers to the closing table. I know this is secrets from the lender perspective. I know all of our larger companies are having Zooms almost every day. I'm actually at a real estate office right now, and they're having a whole conversation. And I know our one and only Marketing Lemons has been pushing the AI situation as well for marketing. But this is a lender perspective of how you can get more buyers to the closing table. Just some etiquette for the chat. If you guys have any questions, there's no such thing as a bad question. You can always email me if you have topics that you'd like me to discuss on these lunch and loan calls. And there's no such thing as a bad question, if I didn't say that already. We definitely want you to get your questions out so that way we can have this time to get those answers out. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. We do this every Tuesday. This is my Lunch and Loans. It is a quick conversation. I'm just giving you more and more information every week. These calls are recorded. So if you missed a Tuesday, you can always go back. My Facebook page keeps them on there. And then you can also go to my YouTube page if you ever just want to go back and listen to all the ones that we've shared in the past. But it's always a new topic for the most part. Why buyers hesitate and how agents can help. On the buyer side, I have noticed that many of the buyers will go to the realtors first, right? They come to you guys. Sometimes they show up at open houses and they just want to see this property that's listed. And then you guys definitely, go in. You're going to show them the property, right? You can't write an offer without a pre-approval, but if they walk in on you, you definitely can show them the property. I would love to see more agents talking about the misconceptions and the fears. Like there are so many people that think you have to put 20% down. There are so many people that just in their minds, they want their credit score to be 800 before they buy a house when the interest rate is exactly the same. And they don't understand by waiting, only property value is only going up these past 5 or 6 years. Market just continues to go up. So as they wait 1 year to get the perfect score, now they're spending more money to get it, right? Really understanding and knowing what we have going on the mortgage side. We do have what's called mortgage broker boot camp for the lending side. If you guys are ever interested in that, you can DM me. We do it once a month. And what we do is we kind of go over the lending side, just the basics of what you need to know, just the basic general guidelines, like how you should, how long you have to wait on the bankruptcy. Most people think you can't buy a house if you had a bankruptcy. That's not true. Chapter 13 will allow a client to purchase a home after they've made 12 payments on time and still be in that chapter 13, right? There's some situations where people have bad credit because their spouse passed away and it took them some time to rebuild. Well, guess what? We have programs for that. We have programs for having no credit score. So there's a lot of things that are out there that people just really don't know about. And your buyers are hesitant to buy because they need the answers to those questions. So you can always refer them on Mondays to Mortgage Moves Mondays, because that's what we do. We talk to buyers about things and we answer questions for them. So that way, when they come to you, they kind of have those questions answered, right? So I would love to see the agents, maybe do some topics. I know we always post the houses, but let's talk about debt to income ratio. Let's talk about that you can purchase a home with a 640. Let's talk about how it's better to have a higher credit score and how we can get credit repair done for free. A lot of times we are friends with our professionals in the industry and we will refer someone to a friend, right? But there is credit repair agencies that do it for free. So if you prepare your client with information, right, and you pair them with housing people like NHS and West Cook with Athena Williams, they are giving free services, and it may take the client a little longer, but if they did nothing, they won't get anywhere. So I'd rather them do something and get somewhere in a year versus do nothing and because it's too expensive, and then now they're still not a homeowner after 5 years, right? A lot of the buyers are scared. They are so scared. They are so scared to make a decision. This is a 30-year mortgage, right? They will go buy a car with a 5-year commitment or a 7-year commitment in a heartbeat with a $1,600, $1,800 payment, right? A lot of clients are literally driving a mortgage. And they're not scared because it's a shorter term commitment. But for some reason, this house buying situation is just making them scared. I have clients that earn 200 and something thousand dollars a year, and they have 401k and they have savings, but they're scared of that commitment, or they're like, oh, I don't know how long I'm going to be living in Chicago. So guess what? I don't want to buy right now because I might move in 3 years. Well, if you made $100,000 in 3 years off your property, you can sell or you can rent, and you can still go buy another property in another state. So just understanding that they are going to have fear, and they have a lot of it, especially our younger buyers, who I think are the next wave of how we're going to kind of stabilize the market. So we just have to be able to give them that information. And the other thing is, kind of your role as an agent, really breaking down and getting to the bottom of what those fears are, or like that third decision maker. A lot of the clients have a third person that is making the decision for real. So I have a client, and her guy is the one that makes the decision, but I always talk to her. So now I want them both on the phone when we talk. So that way I can basically help them make a decision so she doesn't have to change her mind later. So respectfully, you're a decision maker. Let's join the conversation. So when we make a decision, it's the decision and it doesn't have to be changed later. And it also makes the buyer have a better experience, and it puts he or she in a situation where they don't have to give up, because now it's just become so stressful because they have to get their docs in, they have to agree with their companion, and they have to find a property that works for their budget. So those are just a little few tips there, right? Leveraging local grant and assistance programs. I tell everyone is posting 0% down and all of that great stuff, but we do have a higher foreclosure rate, which people don't know about. If we get somebody into a house and they foreclose, they already had all the things on my last slide. They already have fear, right? They already have fear. They already have everything going on in their mind. So when they get into the property and then they lose it, now the other 90% of the people they know that are not a homeowner, now they are scared to buy. And they're like, I told Shantae not to buy that house. So it is very important that even if the client qualifies, the question is, can they afford the property? We don't know if they have a gambling problem. We don't know if they have a kid in college that is asking them for $4,500 for tuition this month, like mine, right? We don't know and see those types of things. So with that being said, ask your client, did you get your pre-approval from your lender? Can you afford the payment? And do you have the money to put for the down payment to make sure that this purchase is not becoming a hardship for them? And it doesn't mean, no, they don't need a property, but maybe they just don't need that property. And let them know that their first home does not have to be their dream home. They can actually purchase something and build to something else and build it up and get there over time. They don't have to do it in the first race. But we want to get the clients in the property and we want them to stay there. We do have down payment assistance. IDA is a big known name. I'm so proud of the work they do. A lot of people don't know about CHAC. CHAC is dropping $10,000, $20,000. CHAC is taking people off of Section 8 and paying their mortgage and helping them have an asset that they can have generational wealth for their family. That is huge, right? People think it's a headache. I've been getting people approved in that program within 2-3 weeks, getting their certificates and things like that. So don't think everything is a headache, right? Understand that we can make things possible, but leverage those grant and assistance programs to teach the clients and utilize the agencies. NHS is doing the CHAC grant. NHS is a housing agency. NHS does a lot of things, right? So now if we get in front of it, we can utilize those resources to help educate and empower our borrowers so that way we can help them get to the finish line. Some programs that we offer, we do down payment assistance programs. I have a grant that will give them 5% of the purchase price. I am not a fan of that grant because the interest rate is extremely a lot. So on a $400,000 property, I have clients that will have to spend $291 a month just because they took the extra money. Now, if that's the only way they can get in, that's the grant for them. But if they have down payment, if they have an income tax return, if they have a 401k, if they have another cheaper way to do it, that's what we talk about to make sure it makes the most sense. Home Ready First is my absolutely, I love Home Ready First. Last month, it was no income limit. Now we do have an income limit, but they basically give the client $7,000 and it's fully forgiven the day they close, right? How great is that? We have a doctor's loan where we could do no money down, no AMI. And of course, we have VA financing. With conventional FHA and VA, I do offer renovation loans. So keep that in mind as well. So they love the property, they just don't like the kitchen. I have an agent right now, I've never seen this before, but in the attic, there's like this beautiful, huge bedroom, but the seller didn't make the investment to put a bathroom up there. This agent was able to say, hey, the bathroom is right under, we're gonna tap in, we're gonna move this plumbing up, we're gonna give you a master bathroom, a big walk-in closet. And it just literally made her, this one house that had been sitting on the market forever, it just made it a reality for the client. And now the client is purchasing that home. She's only doing a $20,000 rehab. The property is gonna be the property of her dreams. So understanding the products, I know that people want to run from 203K. Talk about it because it can help your buyer. Education is the key to success. And when you sit down and do that, that same borrower is going to have a successful purchase and they're going to refer you more clients and help you grow your business as well. Education is key. Once again, I think that's been the main thing on here, utilizing the programs, educating buyers, right? We need the buyers to be educated. Like a lot of these buyers are just, I just pray to God. I'm just throwing it in the air. Know what you're talking about. Know what you're talking about when you're putting your offer in. Understand that if I give you a pre-approval, on my pre-approval, it'll say borrower needs closing costs 6%. That means they have no money. So sometimes I'll get the contracts back and their credit will be $3,000. Well, this buyer really needed the $15,000 property. So that makes it hard, the $15,000 credit. So that makes it harder for the agent because they got to negotiate a little different. But this is just a buyer. Some of these buyers will only qualify if they get certain types of assistance. So understanding the pre-approval, educating them, I think those are, kind of the key steps for success in that process.
Natasha, you have a couple of questions.
Thank you. I can't see the questions, so thank you, Emeka.
Of course. So Tasha,
I got a hand raised. Let's go, Tasha.
Hi, Tasha.
Okay.
Hi. I was wondering when you were back on the down payment assistance screens, what is the CHE? Can you explain those programs? CHENOA. Also the doctor's loan, is it specifically for doctors or is that a term that's being used?
Yes, thank you for asking, Tasha. So, and thank you for sharing my name.
You're welcome.
So the doctor's loan, you have to be a doctor, right? The only doctor that I have seen that they don't approve is the chiropractor, but you pretty much MD, there's like 7 doctor titles, so I don't want to get them wrong. So I can email you those. And as long as you're a doctor, you qualify for this program. CHAC is a down payment assistance program through NHS in the city of Chicago. CHAC is for Section 8 voucher holders. If you ever talk to someone else, CHAC is called the Choose to Home program, right? So they have the Chicago Housing Authority is where we get the CHAC. So CHAC has a program where they will give a client that is not currently in the program $10,000. There's income limits based on how many people are in your household. The income limits are a little short. So if you have a 1-person household, it's about $61,000. If you have a 4-person household, it's about $89,000. So that's my CHAC. If you're in the program, CHAC will give them $20,000, okay? Or they will pay the portion of their mortgage. My client just went under contract. CHAC is going to pay $2,600, okay? They're going to pay $2,600 a month of her mortgage. CHAC is going to pay that mortgage for 15 years. She can choose the $20,000 or she can choose them to pay her mortgage. In 10 months, they will have paid $26,000 and they're going to pay her mortgage for 15 years. So we're going to be not taking the $20,000. We're going to be taking the monthly payments. So I am going to do what's called an amortization schedule, and I'm going to let the client know what it's going to take to pay her mortgage off in 15 years. Because I don't want when CHAC stops paying her mortgage for her to lose her house. So we're going to work hard to pay it off when CHAC pays it off. So now my client will be on track. The other lovely thing about CHAC might be my most favorite grant. Not only because I think, and it's just my personal opinion, but I think when some people get on Section 8, they don't want to make income or whatever because they don't want to lose your Section 8. This is an empowerment move because now CHAC is allowing a borrower to own their home and have a piece of property that they can pass down to another generation. And they're encouraging them to go get the better job and come off. And their clients have really good credit scores and are very savvy. So they have a really good training program that they're putting these clients through because they're actually my best clients, right? So with that being said, CHAC does their own inspection, just like if you ever had a Section 8 tenant, they do that same inspection with the seller. So they're making the seller set this house up for success, number one. Number two, they are paying for your attorney, which is a value of a good $600. I had a client the other day, they charged them $900. So that attorney fee is free. In addition to that, they have discounted the title companies to also give you a break. So they are getting discounted title fees, free attorney, an inspection. So basically free repairs that if Section 8 didn't do the inspection, they would have probably had to make on their own over time. And they are getting $20,000 to come off the program the day they close, or the monthly payment. Now, some Section 8 tenants, their portion is only $89, right? I mean, their portion, Section 8's portion is only $89. So they're basically paying almost their whole rent anyway because they make too much money. So those clients are in a situation they're like, okay, we'll give you the $20,000. But this particular client, she found a house in the Opportunity Zone. $2,600 is what they'll pay up to. So she's taking that option. So I hope I answered all your questions, Tasha, but those were the two. And you asked me about NHS. NHS is a housing agency.
Now, I want to ask about NHS.
Okay.
But you answered all of the questions, but it was another question, not for me. They said, is Home Ready First available for FHA and conventional?
No, so Home Ready First is only available for conventional, but we do have the other FHA programs, but this is a conventional product. You can put 3% down for a 1 unit, and then you can put 5% down for a 2, 3, or 4 unit. It has to be a conventional loan, and they get 1% of the purchase price, plus $5,000. So it cannot exceed, the grant cannot exceed $7,000. And sorry, they just changed it. It was $8,000 and now it's $7,000. So it's 1% of the purchase price plus the difference, which is how they're getting to that $7,000 for the client to get into the property. But it is a conventional loan, and the grant is based off of where you live. So if you live in a certain area and you're buying a better area, you won't get hurt that you're going into a newer neighborhood. They're going to give you the grant based off where you currently live, which is a little different from what we've seen in the past. And this is what's called a Home Ready program. So you can have an FHA score and get approved for a conventional loan in this program because it's set up for you. So the system is scoring you a little different, where you may qualify for this program even when you wouldn't for a regular conventional program, if that makes sense. So a lot of people would just throw you an FHA, but you should try conventional just because it has less fees. And sometimes it has different grant opportunities.
Natasha, this is Crystal. Crystal
Hey,
Counts. That was my question. I actually have 2 more questions. One is, do you have to be a first-time home buyer for that program?
For the Home Ready First, yes. For CHAC, yes. For IDA, no. IDA is the only down payment assistance program I have where they will allow you to be a second-time homeowner, but you can't own more than 2 properties at the time of closing.
You stack those grants on top of one another?
So that was my second question. Can you stack?
Yes, ma'am. So you can, you can stack. Yes, and thank you guys for joining me today. You can stack the CHAC with all of those, but you can't. So the CHAC right now is the only one I can stack with everything else. So I can do 17,000 on the Home Ready. I can stack the 10,000 on the IDA, and then I can stack, the Chenoa or any of the other grants. So to answer, and just so you guys know, you generally can stack grants that are pre-funded. IDA, we pretty much fund IDA with our own funds and wait to be reimbursed. CHAC is wiring their funds to us. It's their money, it's their rules, it's their guidelines. If you have any clients that work for the University of Chicago, they have their own grants. One of my clients got a $50,000 grant from them. If they're sending me their money, I generally can stack it. It's when I have to send the money that I can't.
Got it.
Okay.
Just a little cheat sheet. Yeah.
Okay. So, can I ask another one? The opportunity zone, those are the areas where are the opportunity zone area is where when your clients have a Section 8, depending on the area, they increase the amount of their voucher.
Yes, ma'am. So you can
Okay.
Google you could Google opportunity zone lookup, and when you put the address in there, it's not a lot of them because what they want is the gentrification the opposite way. Like when people are building, they want different nationalities to come in. They want to keep the people from the community living in those communities, so they allow for you to pay more because they know it costs more, and that's just my own interpretation of it.
You said the CHAC, if you're not on Section 8, you can get that grant, but only get 10K.
Yes.
Okay.
And the CHAC grant is the only grant I could do a 203K with.
Okay.
So most people, when they buy a property that needs a rehab, they don't qualify for any grants. Well, you do on the CHAC grant.
Okay. Thank you.
And then Tasha, you also asked me what was Chenoa. So Chenoa is a down payment assistance program. They used to be one of my favorites, but the interest rates just have been a lot higher. There is no income limit on the Chenoa, but if my interest rate is 6.5, the Chenoa may be 8.9. And then the second, they charge interest on the second, which is normally about 3 points higher. Whereas IDA and CHAC, their grant is 0% interest. And Home Ready First.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Natasha.
No worries. Thank you, guys. Did you have any more questions for Ms. Crystal?
I do. I have one more question. So you said for CHAC, if I have someone that is on Section 8 and she wants to purchase, she said that she went through, I guess, a department with Section 8 and she was having some challenges. Is that something I can bring her to you and you can help her with that process? Or does she have to go through the proper channels with Section 8 first?
She has to go through the proper channels of Section 8, but if she's having problems, I can refer. I will tell you they do a great job. So they have to go to the Choose to Own program. They have a series of classes and things they have to take. They have to save $3,000. And then once they complete all the tasks, then they are graduate to the program, and then they'll get a lender list, and I'm one of the lenders on the list.
It is called Choose to Own?
Choose to Own.
Oh, Choose to Own, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. So they would just reach out to the Choose to Own program, and they have to put their name on the list. And once they're selected, they're going to have a series of things they go through. Like they go through credit repair, they go through financial literacy. I don't know exactly all the classes, so I'm actually going to call them today because that would be nice for me to know what is their series of classes. And they have to take an 8-hour home buyer class. And if they're going to buy, and just so you know, the Choose to Home program is only for a 1-unit property.
Okay.
So they can only buy a house.
Okay.
A house, a condo, a townhome, any 1 unit.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, so CHAC has been moving and shaking, and there is no minimum credit score on the CHAC program, which is crazy. And you don't have to count the rent. So say for instance, I'm buying a 4-unit and my rents are $4,000. So that's putting me over the income limit. Well, I don't have to count that to qualify. I only count their actual income. And all of my other grants only go to 2 units. CHAC is the only grant that I have that'll go to 4 units right now.
You have to take an 8-hour course for CHAC, you just said.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you'll end up going to NHS's website and you'll click the Choose to Own orientation, and then they will do the orientation. I always recommend they come to the lender first because I can, so come to the lender first if they're not on Section 8. If they are on Section 8, they need to go through the Choose to Own program so they can get their vouchers and get credit and have their mortgage paid. If they just wanted the $10,000, they should just apply. I will let them know that they qualify because I have all the grids, and then we will get them set up in the portal and they would go through the onboarding of the orientation for the CHAC. If your client is on Section 8, then you want them to go through CHAC first before they come to me.
Okay.
If they're not on Section 8, they can go up to 4 units.
Correct. So if they are not part of the Choose to Home program, now say for instance, they are part of the program and they don't want they're not gonna accept the monthly money being paid towards their mortgage from CHAC, they can still buy a 4 unit and get the free attorney, and they can still get the $20,000, right? They just won't be subject to that 4 unit property because the CHAC is only paying the mortgage on the 1 unit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So as you can see, you guys have a little more information and you're able to educate your borrowers on that program. So you guys should definitely call 5 or 6 buyers today. Tell them to tap a friend that may have Section 8. Make sure they sign up for the Truth to Own program. Let them know that there is money available to them. If their credit isn't ready, we have Terry Kauser who came and she can get them on track with free credit repair. It takes longer for free. And if not, they can do a paid service, but they definitely want to kind of get their credit and build up. And if you talk to somebody and they're not ready, give them everything. Like, don't brush them off. I get in trouble like that because I get busy because I have to get back to everybody, even the ones that don't qualify. I've been allotting a certain amount of time a day for that now because I want to stay out of trouble because I get overwhelmed trying to help so much sometimes. But you definitely want to take some time and educate them and make sure you're referring them to the right place. Yes, we could do a loan with a 580, but really if they don't have a 640, maybe get them to a situation where they can get credit repair so they can qualify for what they have in the state. They can get a good rate. And guess what? If their furnace goes out, they're now a landlord. So if their furnace goes out or their hot water tank breaks for their tenant or themselves, they have to fix it. If they have a 580 credit score, they probably won't be getting a loan at the last minute from Home Depot. So we want to build our clients up so that way we can build their credit. So if they get into a crisis, they can use a credit. Like, I'm a loan officer. Things have been slower, right? We haven't been making as much money as we've been making the past couple of years, but I was blessed enough to have, access to line of credits and credit cards and things like that with no interest. So I can live to see another day or live to see a paycheck. Credit is the key to success. So like I said, educating your borrower, making sure they're ready to buy a house and keep it. Leverage your lender partner. That's me. We can do home buyer seminars for your buyers. We could do a Zoom just like this, and we can have a whole conversation. We can send everybody some gift boxes so they can make them some cocktails while we chat. There's so many things that we can do to be able to educate. I have an event once a year. Well, this will be the second time. It's called Black Friday Reverse. It's on Black Friday. So that's a big thing that we're going to be pushing. And you can tune your clients in every Monday at 6 p.m. Hey, you're looking for a house? Here's the Natasha link, and here's access to Mortgage Moves Mondays. It's not a lot of realtors on, like, realtors may listen, but it's not a marketing stage for realtors. So what it is a platform so realtors can send their buyers there, but then get their buyers back. So there's no one in there that's poaching and soliciting, trying to take the clients, but it's just a way to give group education so we can each one teach one. Use data and real numbers when overcoming objectives. We want to give people their actual mortgage payment so they can understand how much their mortgage payment is going to be and turn hesitation into action. You got to get in a situation. What I love about myself is I've been in every situation. I paid my mortgage day before. I've had a 400 credit score. I did a loan modification. I lived on the west side of the hood. Right? I've been a waitress. I've made hourly and commission. I've been commission only. I went from W-2 to self-employed. I am self-employed. Like, I have almost experienced everyone's situation. So it's easy for me. So if you haven't experienced those situations, try to put yourself in the situation and it'll help you be a better educator. And if you don't own a property, please buy one. Because if you are selling real estate, you definitely want to have had the experience so you know how to offer another great experience. And I know some agents don't own for whatever reasons, but I want everybody who is an agent. It's no shade or anything like that, but the best experience you can give and the best way to teach somebody about buying a home is to have experienced it yourself. And you don't want to just make everybody millionaires. You want to build your own wealth as well. Let's see if I have another slide. Educate buyers on multi-units. So I'm a house hacker, right? I started my real estate career on accident. My dad lost his building for property taxes. I just wanted a building. I was driving around, biracial kid. Every realtor I talked to told me to get a condo downtown. I don't know if I wish I would have now, but they told me to get a condo downtown. And I wanted to get a building, purchase a building in the hood, Roosevelt and Keeler. Keeler, what was it? 44 100 West Congress, right off the expressway on Congress over there.
I'm
I
using
actually lived in my
K-Town.
building, right? I lived in I had a drop top on the front. I used to cook for everybody every once a month. But my family lived there, but I gained over 75,000 in equity. I went from a 28,000 employee with confidence because I had equity and I had more money in my equity than they were paying me a year of my salary. And I was able to purchase another building. And then I was able to sell some property and purchase an 8-unit, which pays for my single family. It's actually almost paid off. So real estate changed my life. So don't be scared to offer people multi-unit situations. Understand that the first property you buy does not have to be the last property. If you have a little bit of patience, right, and you can get into the 4-unit, you only have to live there for 1 year. You can go from a 4-unit, then the second year a 2-unit, then the third year a 3-unit, a single family. And guess what? Now you've gained all of this equity for somebody, and you got 3 transactions off one client. And if you are successful, those clients are going to refer 7 more friends. And if you get 3 transactions out of them, now you have 21 more clients, and you just keep the numbers rolling. But house hacking is a big deal. We're going to have a mortgage move Mondays on house hacking, but definitely keep that in mind. And we can do renovation. Guys, we can go to 1.5 million on a 4-unit with renovation. What does that mean? That means that we don't just have to live in Inglewood. We don't just have to live in Lawndale. We don't just have to live in Bronzeville. We can go on the north side and buy a building and live in a different neighborhood. And guess what? Look at the numbers, because the rent on the mortgage on the property might be $2,000 higher, but the rent might be $4,000 more because you're in a different neighborhood. You're in a different community. So educate yourselves so that way you can educate others, and understand that multi-unit on the first purchase is the key to success. And just another quick gem so you guys can make more money. Stop letting the borrowers tell you that a husband and wife have to go on a loan together. If one person qualifies, put one person on a loan. You know what it means? The second person can get their own FHA loan. That means more transactions for you. And God forbid you get the spouse gets sick, they can refinance to the other spouse's name and have another rescue person. If you're married in Illinois, congratulations. When you buy a property, you don't need your husband. But when you sell it, you got to have your husband, because technically that is a marital asset. So with that being said, don't think that you guys have to be on a loan for the law. And I am no attorney, so seek your attorney for advice as it relates to how exactly you should hold title. But as a lender, I recommend that if you qualify for a property, don't tie up 2 credit reports. You have one accident mistake on a mortgage, your whole household is affected off that one late because you decided to combine 2 people when it was not even necessary. So that's a gem you can drop for the clients as well. Encourage everyone to get a pre-approval early. I always tell people it's the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-approval. I pre-underwrite my files. We want to make sure that the client has a real approval, can close in 2.5 weeks. You don't start getting qualified when you buy the property. You should be qualified. When you go under contract, you should be looking for title, insurance, earnest money check, updated assets, and an appraisal. You should not be talking about restructures and what's coming up on the underwriter report. We do all of that stuff before they actually have a contract in hand, and we can get that done as fast as 20 minutes. But if they need a whole bunch of things going on with third-party verification, it may take a little longer as well. Connect with trusted vendors. Stop hiring people just because you want to give them a chance. Make sure that the professional that you refer your client is a true professional. They can get the deal done fast. They can be efficient. They can give the best price. They can do the best deal. Everybody is not good for your client. I'm going to be honest with you. And everybody doesn't work like me. If I can't do the deal, I might refer them to BMO. I might refer them to NACA. I might refer them to somebody else because I just want them to buy a house, right? So you need to work with somebody that's interest is in home ownership. That's interest is not just about making commission. I'm going to make a commission. Yes, I do work every day, but I'm not going to make it unethically, and I'm not going to hold anybody back from my commission because what's mine is mine. So refer people to the best person, not the one that you know, but the best person for your client. Stay connected. I know we went over. I was trying to be done by 12:30. So thank you guys for tuning in today. You can always follow me at Loans by Natasha on Instagram. I am Natasha Robinson on Facebook. Website is loansbynatasha.com, just to make it easy for you. And thank you guys for tuning in. We don't have any more questions, right, Emeka?
Right,
I
no
have a
more
question.
questions.
One more.
No worries. Look, I'm here for you.
Okay. So if I scanned your QR code, so I can send that link to my client for him to apply to make contact with you.
Yes, and if you want to, Emeka, do you have her email? You could drop your email in the chat, and then Emeka we'll send you my actual
Yep,
intro
perfect. If
email
you
with all the
drop your
documents that
email,
are
I
needed.
can
But
grab
yes,
it.
you can do that as well.
Okay.
And
Um,
then we'll get an intro email out to you, and then that way you can share with your client. It just has the documents that are needed for the client. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say without a question. But if you guys, clients only, it's just like going to court. I only need them to submit me what I asked them for. If they are not self-employed, I do not need tax returns, just W-2s, 30 days pay stubs, 1 month bank statement. I'm gonna pull underwriter reports if things come up, I'll ask for it, but just don't start sending me a whole bunch of documents because whatever you send me is stuck to that file and I have to use it.
pay stub 1 month. I have one more question.
Mhm.
So this particular client that I'm concerned about, they were 1 month. You said it already. I'm answering it while I'm thinking about it. I got you. Okay.
Natasha, I have one last question. For the CHAC, do you have any communication pieces that can be shared on social media?
You mean like I have their PowerPoint and then there's a link where you can watch their classes.
Okay.
So
That can be shared on social media?
Emeka, we can make a flyer. We can make a flyer, a co-branded flyer for them for
Okay.
CHAC.
That would be
Mhm.
great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Me
we'll
too,
make you one.
please.
We'll just need your profile pic. If you want to
Okay.
email me your profile pic to at natasha@grarate.com, I can make you a flyer with all of the bullet points for you.
It's Chris
Okay.
from Natasha, so I'll send it over.
I got your
That's
email.
it. Yeah.
I'll send it for me too. Thank you, Natasha.
No worries, Tasha. Well, I appreciate you guys. I know everyone can't ask questions because we're actually live right now on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So we can't get everybody's questions. But if you want to be able to really engage and have us answer your questions on the live, you just have to make sure you register for the link so you can end up in the actual Zoom. But yes, my goal is to go live in 25. They told me all the information is in my head. So I want to share it with you guys and see how you guys can utilize it to help your clients this year. So you have an amazing day. Happy Tuesday.
Okay.
And we will see you next Tuesday. And you can come and or senior buyers to our Mortgage Move Mondays, which like I said, it's a lower level conversation, but it's more buyer related, but it's still some good information. You can definitely learn some things on that call as well.
Okay, have a good day, Natasha.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Natasha.